Hey everyone, Luke Dog here, and welcome back to Dragon Age 2. We need to get a job. Statues of tortured slaves filled the gallows courtyard, a ghastly memento of Kirkwall's history. 1,500 years ago, Kirkwall was the Tevinter Imperium's largest quarry, feeding the construction of the Imperial Highway. The Imperium's hunger for expansion led to legions of slaves forced into working the quarry. When the Empire's construction phase ended, Kirkwall slid naturally into its new role as the capital of the slave trade, the gallows at its heart. The statues are now monuments to the suffering of slaves. Every inch and angle of the courtyard was designed by magisters bent on breaking the spirit of newcomers. Executions here took place daily, sometimes hourly, and corpses were hung from gibbets throughout the yard. New slaves trudged in from the docks saw what awaited them. When Our Lady turned her armies against the Imperium, the slaves of Kirkwall revolted and claimed the city for themselves. The gallows stood empty for 200 years, not to be reopened, until the crowning of Divine Justinia I. The gallows transformed the city again when the abandoned prison tower became the home of Kirkwall's Circle. From In Pursuit of Knowledge, The Travels of a Chantry Scholar by Brother Genetivi.
So, that was your uncle, was it? Good. I thought he was another confidence man trying to sell promises. I don't suppose he has the coin you'll need to get in?
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't seem to have any more than we do.
Ah, that's a shame. If it were just up to me, I'd let you through, but there are a lot of eyes watching, a lot of palms that need greasing. My suggestion? Wait for a ship and hope the next city hasn't already closed their doors.
Fun. Codex update. Find either a Thenril or a Mirren in the Gallows courtyard. Either might be willing to provide a way into Kirkwall. Okay, let's see. We got one over here. Hi, Mom.
I never thought I would find myself begging to be allowed back into Kirkwall.
Considering how long it's been since you've been here, or...
Remember, it's Mirren or a Thenril you're looking for. Either of them can help you out.
Hold on. I want to check something. I believe there's an achievement for it depending on who you go with. So I'm just gonna check. That'd be nice. Ally yourself with the mercenaries upon arriving in Kirkwall. Ally yourself with the smugglers. Yeah, I don't think there's really any big difference with who you go with.
Mirren?
Huh. So you're Hawk, the nephew. Your uncle talked up a storm about you. He better not be blowing more smoke out his ass.
I'd like to know more about you first.
Right. You're not a marcher like your uncle. The Red Iron is well known in these parts. We pick who we work for and keep our noses clean. But anyone screws with us, we mess them up. Makes sense.
Makes sense.
All I know is if we join the company, I'm going to start talking like that.
Getting us into the city will take a lot of coin.
Did I mention the Red Iron gets paid pretty well? Not to mention your uncle said you were a mage. We're willing to pay for that.
I didn't realize Gamlen told you that.
You stick with us. You'll be safe. For a year, at least.
My uncle doesn't seem the sort to hang out with mercenaries.
He doesn't. Gamlin cheated one of my men at a wallop match. You turn out, we'll call it even.
I'll do it.
I'm ready to prove myself.
Noble bastard named Friedrich is here in the gallows. Gave us bad info. Almost killed my men. Now he's hiding out here, waiting for a ship. He sees us coming, he'll run for sure. But he doesn't know you. Go kill him and his men. We'll make sure no one asked why.
Lord Friedrich is somewhere in the gallows courtyard. Find and kill him. Over here is the smuggler.
Are you a Fenrir?
He must be Gamlin's nephew. Interesting. I don't know what he told you about us, but he certainly told us a great deal about you.
How much exactly?
Enough to pique our interest, provided you can justify your uncle's confidence.
I'd like to know more about what we'd be doing for you.
I can be honest. We don't compete with the Thieves Guild, but we keep our fingers in a lot of pots. That said, we're not killers or slavers. Anything short of that, however, is fair game.
Do what you want, but this sounds fishy to me.
Begging and taking your pick never went hand in hand.
I hear getting us into the city isn't cheap.
If you're as good as your uncle claims, we're hoping you'll be worth it. After all, it's not every day we're offered an apostate's services.
Does everyone know about us?
If the Circle hasn't descended upon you, my guess is no. The Templars in Kirkwall like to think they have all mages properly leashed, but when has that ever been true? We can keep them from taking notice while you're with us. Wouldn't be the first time.
How did you get to be one of my uncle's contacts?
Is that what he calls me? He owes us after that last big idea. If you turn out, though, we'll consider things even.
Personally, I feel like I'd probably go with her, but I want the achievement.
I'll find some other way into the city.
Suit yourself. I'll be around for a bit, if you change your mind.
I mean, she's offering to help hide the fact that we're a mage.
Have you checked the courtyard again?
He's still out there, but he's alone. And he's not making a move.
I don't trust this. What will we do when the ship comes? Wait, who are you? I demand to know what you're doing here.
I want to hear what you have to say before I decide anything.
Mirren sent them.
I'm not an idiot. I could have figured that out for myself. Look, you. I don't know what that pissant thug is paying you, but I'll double it. Just let us go.
All we want is a way into Kirkwall.
What? I don't have that kind of coin. I'm having trouble leaving the damned city.
So the Red Iron sent refugees after us?
Ah, stinking dog lords. Kill them and send their bodies back to Mirren.
Okay, then. Fireball. I need more attacks. Oh, I'm almost dead. Kaboom. Hey, level up. Turn to Miram. I should get a new ability. Stone Fist is nice. Rock Armor's nice. Let's go with Winter's Grasp. Yeah, Winter's Grasp. Sunder. The warrior strikes carry such weight that critical hits gain a chance to stagger. The warrior maintains constant awareness of the battlefield. So long as the warrior has a shield equipped, enemies receive no bonus for attacking from behind. Sweet. Just the way my staff looks on me, it almost looks like it should be dragging on the ground. It's like, shouldn't I, like, carry it a little higher? I mean, look at it. Looks like I'm kicking the back.
We've done as you asked.
Good. May the bloody vultures feast on his corpse and shit him into the ocean.
I'm telling you, I love this guy.
Welcome to the Red Iron. Tell your uncle I'm making the arrangements now.
Thank you. Mercenary. Deliver Flemeth's amulet to keep a Marathari in the dealer's camp on Sundamount. Go home and check the special delivery. Okay.
Any luck?
Yes, they've agreed to help us.
I'll speak to Mirren and see when the bribes can be made. Wait here.
I guess we did it. We're here to stay, at least for a while.
We'll see what happens when this debt is repaid.
If only Bethany were here with us.
And Wesley.
Let's just see what happens. We have a long year ahead of us.
Thus began the champion's first year in Kirkwall. Word arrived from across the sea that the hero of Ferelden had defeated the Blight. But Lothering was destroyed. Kirkwall was the champion's home now. So he made his name, settling his debts with the mercenaries. It was a busy year in the city. That's when the Qunari landed. A great storm had caught their ship and left hundreds of warriors stranded in the city, waiting to return home. That's also when the trouble began with the mages. The Templars had become very powerful under Knight Commander Meredith. But, most importantly, that's when I first met the champion.
No. Andraste's tits, human. You know how many people want to hire onto this expedition?
Look, we know you're going into the deep roads. You'll need to hire the best, and we're...
No! You're too late. Already done.
The money from this trip could fix everything. You need us. We fought Darkspawn.
Look, Precious. I don't care if you tore the horns off an ogre with your bare hands.
You make him understand. We're running from your bloody Templars.
My brother has a point. It's on his head, but it's still valid.
Oh, thanks for that.
So what about it, Bertrand? We're just what you need.
You're looking for a quick way out of the slums, right? You and every other Ferelden in this dump. Find another meal ticket.
Well, back to waiting for someone to turn us in.
It'll get harder if we're at each other's throats.
I know. It just seems like you either die in this city or you end up like the scum we're bargaining with. We need coin, status, something we can shove in that dwarf's face and keep people off our backs. And all I can think of is Uncle Gamlen.
He got us into the city, more or less. If there's a chance he can push Bertrand.
Worth checking, I guess. What else can we do? We're losing ground, and I don't fancy waking up in the gallows.
Hey!
I knew a guy once who could take every coin out of your pockets just by smiling at you. But you don't have the style to work Hightown, let alone the Merchants Guild. You might want to find yourself a new line of work. Off you go.
How do you do?
Varric Tethras, at your service. I apologize for Bertrand. He wouldn't know an opportunity if it hit him square in the jaw.
But you would?
I would. What my brother doesn't realize is that we need someone like you. He would never admit it either. He's too proud. I, however, am quite practical.
What makes you so certain we can help? You know nothing about us.
Oh, on the contrary. You've made quite the name for yourself over the last year. Serving with the Red Iron is no mean feat. Yet you not only served, you impressed. The name Hawk is on many lips these days. Not bad for a Ferelden fresh off the boat.
You must have heard of my brother as well, then.
A little, yes. But it is you they speak most of, Messer.
That figures.
Your brother is certainly welcome to join us by all means, but I'll leave that in your hands.
Oh, I'm going. Without this expedition, we won't last out the year.
You're part of Bertrand's venture?
That's right. The deep roads wouldn't normally be my thing, but I can't allow the head of our family to go down there alone. So as you might imagine, I have more than a passing interest in this expedition's success.
There must be some way to persuade your brother to hire us on.
We don't need another hireling. We need a partner. The truth is, Bertrand's been tearing his beard out trying to fund this on his own, but he can't do it. Invest in the expedition. 50 sovereigns and he can't refuse. Not with me there to vouch for you.
Why would you stick your neck out for a complete stranger?
I'd rather take a chance on someone with your reputation than head into the deep roads unprepared. And besides, we'd be your partners. I'm willing to give a little trust if you are.
Your brother doesn't seem like the sort who's willing to split profits.
My brother is many things, but he is not stupid. Far better to share the profits than be trapped in a tide with 1,000 darkspawn between you and the exit. Trust me, he'll come around.
It sounds interesting, but if I had any gold, I wouldn't need this job.
You need to think big. There's only a brief window after a blight when the deep roads won't be crawling with darkspawn. The treasure you find down there could set you and your family up for life.
Come on. The dwarf makes some sense. No offense. Look, you started this, and it's a good idea. Certainly better than ending up in the gallows.
We work together, you and I, and before you know it, you'll have all the capital you need. What do you say?
What makes you so certain you'll be useful to me?
I know everyone in this city worth knowing. I can help you find the jobs you need, and if you don't need me for that, there's always Bianca.
You named your crossbow.
And why not? She's a beauty. Isn't that right, sweetheart?
It's not like I had anything better planned.
Perfect. Kirkwall's crawling with work. You set aside some coin from every job and you'll have the money in no time.
Sure, easy. But maybe Aveline's got some bounties out. She joined the city guard, right?
We should talk privately when you get the chance. In the Hanged Man, maybe. I'll be there when I'm not with you. Now, let's go see what trouble we can stir up. Keep
I'm very soon hangman.
There are more cut purses in Hightown than in the rest of the city combined.
Go to Gamlin's home in Lowtown. Aveline may have information about working with the city guard. Talk to her at the barracks. Find a way to become a partner to get the Deep Roads expedition started. Bring 50 sovereigns to Bartran. Talk to Varric in Lowtown's hangman. Okay, Varric. Bianca. Varric specializes in picking off distant targets and suppressing enemy ranks. This talent tree is required to equip Varric's treasured crossbow, Bianca. Rogues who excel at these abilities are adept at stupefying and undermining their foes. Specialists rely on precision, power, and speed to overwhelm their opponents. Rogues proficient in these dastardly talents delight in exploiting their enemies' weaknesses and controlling the flow of battle. Subterfuge talents focus on tricky maneuvering and deception to gain the upper hand. Varric will never tell the story of how Bianca earned her name, but no one is denying her effectiveness. Bursting arrow. This arrow explodes on impact, showering the area in shrapnel and flame. Welcome to the group, Varric. Now then. What do we have equipped? Mercenary staff. Yeah, mercenary longblade. Okay. Can we buy anything other than what I just sold you? 5 gold. This is fire. Enemies drop better equipment. Yeah, we'll leave it for now.
You won't find better prices.
I'm sure.
When we're done in the deep roads, I'm buying everything.
And I talked... Carver, you're in the way. This is for weapons. Yep. This is armor. That's a nice staff. Do I want nature or fire? I'll do it. Bit of staff. Bit of gloves. Ferelden Man-at-Arms issue. Varric's tailored leather duster.
Another Ferelden street rat? Are you here to waste my time, or do you actually have coin to spend?
Are you an armorer? A weaponsmith?
My stock is varied. What all my wares have in common, however, is quality. Only the best for my distinguished patrons. See for yourself.
Okay. Let's go check out this person.
Hawk, long time no see, my friend.
Worthy, when did you get back into town?
Oh, just a month or so ago. Things didn't work out in Orzammar. You still with the Red Iron? It was just a year you were with them, right?
I'm looking to become an explorer, of a sort.
I heard. Bartrand's hard to take, but his information is usually good.
Hard to take? That's putting it mildly.
I'll tell you what. I still have my old contacts. You need some rune crafting done, I can arrange it for you. Take care, Hawk. Don't get dead.
You've unlocked a crafting station from which you can order items given a recipe and resources. Another station is now available in Hawk's house. You can order rooms as you discover the right combination of resources along with a recipe. Resources you discover are permanently available to craftsmen, but placing an order costs money. Once you've ordered a rune, use the enchantment apparatus in Hawk's home to apply blah blah blah. So I can do a rune of protection, but I need 1 lyrium. And I got nothing.
We're brothers. What's eerie about that?
Oh, you thought I meant Hawk. I was talking about Gamlin.
Maker, I hate you, dwarf.
I feel like I missed part of the conversation. up here.
One so wealthy could use a new pair of boots, yes?
Maybe later when I have more money.
I don't want to see any trouble with you.
That dwarf better be right. I don't want to catch the blight down there.
Varric, where did you get off to? And what are you planning?
Bartrand, so suspicious. I have in fact brought us our future partner.
What? Partner? You stupid nug-humping dirt farmer. Why did you go promising something like that?
Because if we don't get this expedition moving, brother, then we won't have any profits to argue about, will we?
Maybe you have a point.
So we're partners?
That depends. You got the coin we need?
Are we talking a full share here, or what?
If you have the coin, sure. You'll get a full share.
That seems like a lot for an expedition.
We're going lower into the deep roads than anyone's ever dared. Who knows what we'll find down there? Well, that means food and equipment and hirelings. None of that comes bloody cheap.
I will get the coin, I promise.
And how about you tell me when that happens? Until then, you're not much of a partner.
Relax, Bartrand. Have I ever let you down?
You don't want me to answer that.
Bodan Feddick, purveyor of goods both common and rare, at your service. And this is my son, Sandal, who is as brilliant an enchanter as you'll ever find. Say hello to the nice human, Sandal.
Hello.
We shall be accompanying your expedition and providing the needed supplies. It's all quite exciting, isn't it?
Enchantment!
You aren't worried about venturing into such a dangerous place?
Not with such fine protection. But I digress. Do you wish to peruse my wares, or perhaps make use of Sandal's unique talents?
Enchantment?
Just so.
I thought all enchanters were mages.
Not at all. The fabled dwarven resistance to magic has allowed enchantment of crafts for countless ages. Granted, most dwarven smiths must work for many, many years to learn the skill, but my boy is a natural, a savant beyond compare.
I like enchantment.
And he enjoys his work. What more could one ask?
You two don't seem the sort to hire onto this expedition.
My son and I have never played it safe. Never captured a tried and true roads. In fact, we have just returned from adventures while accompanying the hero of Ferelden, legendary Grey Warden and vanquisher of the Blight.
So you helped to defeat the Blight?
In our small way, perhaps. We did not fight at the Grey Warden's side, of course. The hero of Ferelden is a fine man. After all his accomplishments, may he find even greater success. But surely my past is hardly of interest to the likes of you.
Let's see what you have.
By all means, feel free to peruse my wares whenever you wish.
Hail, half of Kirkwall wants to be my best friend right now. The history of the noble house Tethris stretches back to the foundation of Orzammar. The memories say that 3 times a child of House Tethris took the office of Assembly Steward. They held appointments in the Shaperate of Memories and the Shaperate of Golems, but no longer. In the 2nd year of the reign of King Endrin Idukin, Lord Anvar Tethris was found guilty before the Assembly of willfully manipulating proving matches in favor of his house. For this affront to the ancestors, he and all his house were sentenced to exile on the surface. Anvar died a mere 5 years later, leaving behind his lady Ilsa, 10-year-old Bartrand, and 2-year-old Varric. Exile, surface life, and the loss of her husband conspired against Lady Ilsa, who took to drink, leaving young Bartrand to manage what was left of House Tethras. By the time he was 15, Bartrand had doubled his family's fortune. The disgrace of House Tethras fueled his ambition, and his once noble title gave him an instant place among the Kalnaz, the old money elite of the Dwarven Merchants Guild. He used it to build alliances and business ventures as if he were a member of the Orzammar Assembly. By the time Lady Ilsa died, Bartrand had made the Tethras family one of the guild's most influential, but wealth and power on the surface couldn't sate him. He began to court alliances with the wealthiest ascendant families, branching into banking and mercenary companies. Guild members mutter that nothing will satisfy Bartrand but a complete reconstruction of House Tethras' estate in Orzammar, down to the rivers of lava, built in Kirkwall. 100 ways to run and we choose backward. Whatever you say, but chasing an old name isn't really starting over. Strong and strapping, Carver is a skilled warrior set on proving himself, although it's not always clear who he is trying to impress. The son and sibling of mages, he grew up surrounded by magic he couldn't truly understand, and he feels like something was expected that he could never deliver. He cares deeply for his family, but sometimes feels like the stupidest person in the room. Carver foundered in Lothering. So that's supposed to be floundered? He blamed his lack of direction on not wanting to draw attention to his family of apostates at home. After his father died, he started down a military path. However, the blight and rout at Orzammar ended this career almost before it could start. While he knows that swift flight was the only reasonable course in the face of the Darkspawn advance, he almost would rather have stood and fought. Doomed though the effort was, facing the Horde had purpose, something Carver has been searching for. The hero of Ferelden was the youngest son of Bryce Kuzlan, Terran of Highever. When Arl Rendon Howe's forces attacked Castle Kuzlan and murdered most of the Kuzlan family, the hero escaped to safety with Grey Warden Commander Duncan, who then recruited him into the Order. The hero fought and killed the Archdemon, and lived to tell the tale. With the Archdemon gone, the Darkspawn ranks broke, and the Horde was easily routed. After ending the Blight, the hero of Ferelden took up the mantle of Warden Commander, and began the task of rebuilding the Order in Ferelden. I know everyone in this city worth knowing. Varric was born 3 years after his father's exile from Orzammar into the world of the Merchants Guild. The ancestors never spoke, and paragons were the heroes of tall tales. The number of dances that Kalna lady gave to a low-born ascendant boy were more pivotal than the reign of kings. While Bartrand ran the businesses and drove House Tethras ever higher up the social ladder, Varric looked after the family and their retainers. His mother, Lady Ilsa, suffered terribly from the trauma of her disgrace in exile, finding solace in liquor and smoke. It fell to her younger son to try and curb the worst of her drunken rages, to keep her from becoming a matter of public scandal, and to care for her when she fell ill from her excesses. Though he is famous throughout the Merchants Guild for his stories, Varric speaks rarely of himself or his family. Most of Kirkwall knows him. Everyone has bought him a drink at least once, for the sake of his fictions rather than his family connections. In Orzammar, Dwarven society is divided into rigid castes with houses that compete for power and prestige. But all that is discarded when the dwarf abandons the stone for the surface. Under the open sky, everyone is equal, or so the story goes. The truth is that thousands of years of tradition are not so easily tossed aside. Even though surface dwarves are officially stripped of their caste, many maintain a hierarchy among themselves along the old caste lines. Formerly noble houses are accorded more respect than casteless branches, who come up in search of opportunity. The poorest noble dwarf on the surface looks upon the rich lower caste dwarves with contempt. Upper-class surface dwarf society is roughly divided into two camps: Kalnaz, who insist on maintaining caste and rank, typically those from the noble or merchant caste families, and Ascendants, who believe in leaving Orzammar's traditions underground and embracing life in the sunlit world. Maintaining some tie to Orzammar was seen for generations as the only lifeline for surface dwarves. Bringing surface goods to their kin underground and lyrium and metals to the surface was not only the most lucrative means of making a living, but also a sort of sacred duty, as many surface dwarves willingly accepted exile and the loss of their caste to better serve their house or patron. In recent years, many surface dwarves, particularly Ascendants, have branched out. They started banks, mercenary companies, and overland trade caravans. They became investors and speculators in purely surface trade. These new industries have proven tremendous sources of wealth, but are looked down upon by their most conservative kin. For less affluent surface dwarves, association with a powerful colonna can open many doors. They can get credit with dwarven merchants and are offered good work opportunities by the powerful dwarven merchants guild more readily, sometimes than more qualified but less connected individuals. From the Dowager's Field Guide to Good Society by Lady Alcyone.
What do you need, my good friend?
Can I buy something?
Let's see what you have.
By all means, feel free to peruse my wares whenever you wish.
Oh, do I have to actually... There we are. I have to actually click on the thing. I just want to see what you got. Nothing much, but then again, I don't have anything.
Don't mind him, monsieur. Sandal's never been one for conversation. What do you need, my good friend?
Enchantment?
Let's see what your son can do.
Enchantment!
Enchantments add powerful new properties to items that have rune slots, filling us something. I have no runes, though. Sorry, no enchantment.
Quiet day in Hightown. Just the way I like it.
They'll let anyone into Hightown these days.
Be careful if you're going into the Rose. It's a favorite hangout of crime bosses and tax collectors.
Avert your eyes.
Is that this place? Let's check it out.
Interesting place.
Madame Lucine runs the place for Harlan. Or with him. Or on him. It's a coterie thing.
Speaking of which... Kirkwall is built on a solid foundation of greed and human suffering, and its underworld is a place where everything is for sale and everyone is fair game. There are many criminal empires within the city, some of which have been around since the Imperium used Kirkwall as a hub in the slave trade. Alliances, spying, manipulation, betrayal, and open warfare is all commonplace in the never-ending struggle for power. The Coterie is a thieves' guild that has been around for almost a century, but until recently was never a major player in the underworld. Some 20 years ago, the strongest of the local criminal empires was an ancient guild known as the Sabrathan, but its leader was betrayed from within, and during the turmoil, the Coterie made a successful grab for power. Since then, they've sunken their claws into almost every level of Kirkwall, including the city guard, the Dwarven Merchants Guild, and some of the most influential citizens in the city. It's safe to say that the Coterie gets a slice of every pie, and very little goes on in Kirkwall that escapes their notice. From In Pursuit of Knowledge, The Travels of Chantry Scholar by Brother Genetivi.
I don't care how much that man pays, I'm not rubbing Hubert's feet again until he pays. Disgusting.
The merchandise is up front.
I've got your usual ready and waiting for you upstairs, Sarah.
Many thanks.
I won't mention this to your mother if you don't.
I don't know, Uncle. I think she would probably want to know about this. We got a crafting recipe. I don't think there's really any point to go in here, but I just wanted to look around.
Mead.
Anything to loot? Anything to loot? I'd like to know if there's anything to loot. Doesn't look like it. Let's go upstairs and see if there's anything up here to loot.
You're looking at this all wrong.
Whatever it is you're about to say, I'm not interested.
I'm a professional younger brother. Trust me, the center of attention's the worst place to be. When things go wrong, and they always do, that's where all the fingers point. Look at any kingdom in Thedas. You've got people who warm thrones, and people nobody sees who do the real work.
So my brother is a king now. Just what he needed.
Point? Missing it. Oh well.
Huh? A stone toe chipped from the great dwarven statue. May be of interest to a dwarf new to the surface and looking for pieces of home. These surfacers often drift in the Lowtown Bazaar. Huh. Side quest. We have no rogue. Okay, time to go. We got a side quest. The Anderfills are a land of shocking extremes. It's the most desolate place in all the world, for two blights have left great expanses of the steppes so completely devoid of life that corpses cannot even decay there. No insect or grub will ever reach them. It is a land filled with wonders like the Murdain, with its gigantic white statue of Our Lady carved into its face, her hands outstretched and bearing an eternal flame, or Weishout Fortress, with its walls of living rock towering over the desolate plains below. The Anders, too, are a people of extremes, the most devout priests and the most deadly soldiers, the poorest nation in the world and the most feared. From In Pursuit of Knowledge, Travels of a Chantry Scholar by Brother Jim TV. Right, there's no jump button.
Really ask you to wear a feather boa.
All Asian, darling. You get used to it.
Back to Hightown. I was almost going to say hi ever.
Avert your eyes for a dog.
Let's go to the Viscount. Talk to Eveline. At the height of the Tevinter Imperium slave trade, Kirkwall's elite prospered under the dreams of avarice. Hightown was built for the wealthiest slavers, its glitzy mansions rising atop a great wall of rock that borders on one side the waking sea. Lowtown cowering on its right side until Kirkwall's slaves rose to plunder and destroy Hightown's riches. Today, Hightown's prominent buildings are the Keep, home to the ruling Viscount, and the Chantry, home to the Grand Cleric and the city's religious center. Both are coveted estates that once housed wealthy magisters, rebuilt and converted after the uprising.
No, that can't be true.
You can't miss the keep. It practically screams nothing fun ever happens here.
Thanks for letting me know. I like these loading screens.
You're in my light. Do I come to where you work and stand in your light?
Time to look around.
How much longer do I have to wait?
Knock, knock.
You're looking well, Sirrah.
Thank you? The Lamarian Accords. 50 years. That's how long it took the Imperium to drive out the Kunari occupation, but the rest of northern Thedas was not so lucky. Both divines, white and black, declared exalted marches, and for the only time since the schism of the Chantry, they worked together. A century-long siege resulted, with the giant Kunari entrenched in Antiva and Ravane, and all of Thedas throwing armies against them. The war drained the resources of every nation in Thedas, leaving most on the brink of collapse. For the Giants, it did not appear to be the damage to their armada or the loss of their soldiers, but the terrible toll upon the Ravani population that prompted their retreat. When the third new Exalted March had all but massacred the people of Kant-Ar without ever chipping the Kunari occupying force, the Giants finally withdrew. The treaty that put an official end to the Kunari Wars was signed by the politically neutral island of Lamarin off the southern coast of Ravane. 150 years after their assault on the mainland began, the Kunari left our shores. They received the northern archipelago in exchange for a cessation of hostilities against all the nations on the Accord. Only Tevinter refused to sign, and so the war continued to rage in the Imperium to the present day. It's worth noting, however, that the Kingdom of Ravane immediately violated the treaty. Twice. Once when the humans of northern Ravane, nearly all practitioners of the Qun and therefore by definition Kunari, refused to leave their homes and go in exile to the islands. And again, when the Ravane Chantry and nationalist forces, unable to convert its people back to the worship of the Maker, tried to purge by the sword, slaughtering countless unarmed people and burying them in mass graves. It's a fortunate mystery that the leaders of Kant-Ar did not alert their allies in the Northern Passage, or we'd still be fighting the Giants now. From the Exalted Marches, an examination of Chantry warfare by Sister Petrine, Chantry scholar.
The office of the Viscount is not open to the public, especially recent arrivals not actually part of the public.
Hey. A rare collaboration between human and elven vintners. The result is a taste that has been called appropriately tense, occasionally requested in the Lowtown Bazaar, although elves rarely do so openly. I can't go in there.
You're looking well, Sirrah.
Hope the day is treating you well, Sirrah.
Thank you. The Divine is the titular head of the Chantry, although since the schism split the Imperial Chantry into its own faction, there are now in fact two Divines at any one time. One Divine, informally called the White Divine, is a woman housed in the Grand Cathedral in Val Royeaux. The other, known as the Black Divine, is a man housed in the Argent Spire in Minrathous. Neither Divine recognizes the existence of the other, and the informal names are considered sacrilegious. No matter the gender, a Divine is addressed as Most Holy or Your Perfection. Beneath the rank of Divine is the Grand Cleric. Each Grand Cleric presides over numerous chantries and represents the highest religious authority for the region. They travel to Val Royeaux when the College of Clerics convenes, but otherwise remain where they are assigned. All Grand Clerics are addressed as Your Grace. Beneath the Grand Cleric is the Mother, or in the Imperial Chantry, the Father. If a mother is in charge of a particular chantry, revered is appended to her title. These are the priests responsible for administering to the spiritual well-being of their flock. A mother, or revered mother, is addressed as Your Reverence. Brothers and sisters form the rank and file of the chantry and consists of three main groups: affirmed, initiates, and clerics. Affirmed are the lay brethren of the chantry, those regular folk who have turned to the chantry for succor. Often they are people who have fled a difficult or religious life and have chosen to go into seclusion, or even orphans and similar unfortunates who are raised into the chantry life. The affirmed take care of the chantry and are in turn afforded a life of quiet contemplation, no questions asked. Only those folk who take vows become initiates. These are men and women in training, whether in academic knowledge or the martial skills of a warrior. All initiates receive an academic education, although...
Family, aren't you?
Whoops, accidentally.
I had a report.
But the affirmed take care of the chantry and are in turn afforded a life of... Okay. All initiates receive an academic education, although only those who seek to become Templars learn how to fight in addition. Clerics are the true academics of the chantry, those men and women who have dedicated themselves to the pursuit of knowledge. They are often found in chantry archives, sages presiding over libraries of books and arcane knowledge. The most senior of these clerics, placed in charge of such archives, are given the title Elder, although such a rank is still beneath that of Mother. All other brothers and sisters are addressed simply by noting their title before their name, such as Brother Genitivi. For a guide for ambassadors from Ravane.
Concerning your uncle. He's a colorful chap, to say the least.
And I can't go any further.
Good luck getting in. I've been waiting all day.
Okay then. To the right side. You've entered a commander's home base.
Fine days.
It is with pride that I, your Viscount, grant the authority of law and civil enforcement upon the guardsmen of an independent Kirkwall. No more will we defer to the will of foreign troops or draw a holy order into tasks unbefitting their mandate. These proud men and women will be the people and will enforce the laws we have elected for a civil and ordered society. And should the specter of invasion return, the noble guardsmen will conscript from the population, for who better to amass the people's will than the constables of law charged with its inspection? This is a great day, fair Kirkwall, and I am honored to appoint the first guard captain. Long may he serve the will of a free people. From Orlesian Legacy, how institutions of the oppressors linger, the speeches of Viscount Michael Lafayette, collected by Philiam, a bard. Philiam. While some of my contemporaries dispute whether the Fifth Blight was a true blight or merely a large darkspawn resurgence, historians agree that it began in the swamps of the Kokari Wilds on the southeastern border of Ferelden in the year 930 Dragon. King Kaelin Theron was swift in responding to the threat, gathering the royal army, every Grey Warden in his country, and sending a call for aid to the Ferelden nobility. The assembled armies laid a trap in the ruins of Ostagar, hoping to crush the forces before it reached civilization, but they failed. Darkspawn overran the defenders of Ostagar and decimated the king and his army. They continued their advance into Ferelden unopposed. Only 2 Grey Wardens managed to escape the slaughter, and somehow they came into possession of ancient treaties, which compelled the races of men to join arms against the massing horde. Recent history! Can I even do a simple one?
By all means.
Nope.
Lead on.
Fine day, Sarah.
Hello, Aveline.
Aveline.
Hello, Hawk.
Been a while, hasn't it?
What? Oh, right. Sorry. It feels like we just talked. I've been keeping an eye on you. Information is one of the few perks of this job. Watch out for Bartrand. He's a son of a bitch.
You know I don't like it when you have people watch me.
Saved me camping on your doorstep. After what we went through to get here, well, you're no child, but I take care of my friends. The places they have me patrolling, I've got time.
A person in your position seems like they might learn some profitable things.
You know better than to ask that.
One day you'll be frustrated enough to go for it.
It's like I'm sitting on my hands. There are dangerous people in this city. In fact, I might have a job for you. Let me know if you want to do a favor for Kirkwall. Otherwise, I'm here if you need me. Maker knows I could use more satisfying work.
Seems like Kirkwall suits you.
It has been a challenge. Lots of opportunity, if you're the type the locals want.
Are you?
If you argue enough, you kind of convince yourself.
It's been a year settling in. Are you all right?
You don't need to coddle me. I am where I am. How close I hold my memories is my own business.
This must be a very different pace from serving King Cailan.
I love that life, but there's a new king for a new Ferelden. Seems cocksure, but I guess he was there when the Archdemon fell. Can't fault an active hand. It's just one more change, though. The real end for me was Ostagar. What about you, Carver? You were there. Do you feel something similar?
No.
All right, then. Bit of a tit, your brother.
The Blight is over. You could go back to Lothering.
That wasn't home for me. It was just where the Horde pressed us. It wasn't the first village I saw fall. But you don't get used to people losing everything.
I'd been away already. I don't know if I'd still call it home.
Sometimes the best thing about a place is that it's where you're from.
All right, Aveline. You have something worth doing.
My patrols may be empty walks in the dark, but there's something big coming up, and I could use you. An ambush, probably for a caravan, although I can't find any shipments that match up. Doesn't matter, though. Highwaymen waiting for someone to rob. I'm putting a stop to it, my district or not.
You have a name, or anything else to go on?
Not important. If we show up and they attack, they're bad. Simple as that. I'll wager it's smugglers, though. Like I said, seems like an obvious trap for a caravan.
I'm no guard, Aveline.
There's only so many of us. Temporary recruits are expected time to time, as long as they're competent. You still claim to be competent, right?
You've been nosing around outside your commission.
I have contacts, and they're complaining about a lack of meat. Thugs and such. Someone is hiring. And one or two were told to prepare for travelers. You want to be good at this job? You pay attention to what's missing, and when people arrange escape routes.
Seems like you'd want to share this with your fellow guards.
I will, if you sit on your hands. I'll send my alerts, and someone else will lead a patrol. But there's profit and influence to be had. You're my friend, so I'm offering.
Aveline, you've got yourself a partner.
I knew I could count on you. They're hidden up Sundermount, remote and rough, but we can make good time with a shortcut this side. And no, you can't run off and do it without me. I trust you, but I have to be there. You're acting on behalf of the Guard.
Messiah, please stop kicking the wall.
Take Aveline to find the ambush hiding along the paths of Sundermount. The location of the bandits will only be clear if she is present. Okay. Off we go. Ooh. Let's go to Lowtown. Since that's where most of our quests are. Okay then.
A Ferelden in the guard. What will they think of next?
You have a problem with that?
Me? My family's not native either. I'm just surprised. A lot of old prejudice in the guard.
I'll give them plenty of reason to change their minds.
You know, it's possible they're just scared shitless of you. That's my theory, anyway.
My. If it isn't Hawk.
Good to see you again, Elegant.
Lady Elegant, if you don't mind. I'm a married woman now. Last time we met, you were still working for that brutish thug, Mirren. Things have been going well since then?
It isn't always easy, but things are going well enough.
That's wonderful to hear. You may recall I supplied the Red Iron with potions. I'd be willing to extend you the same courtesy if you like. All I ask is you inform me of any interesting reagents you find. In exchange, I'll approach my contacts on your behalf. And of course you'll need the appropriate recipes, such as this one. Free, for old time's sake.
Thanks.
More trouble than commerce in this place.
I believe you lost this somewhere.
I thought this was lost. Perhaps it should be. But that does not diminish your kindness.
I have no idea how I knew it was yours, but here you go. I can craft potions. I don't have any elf root. And off of my... Lowtown sits in a massive cauldron-shaped pit that was once Kirkwall's first quarry. The district was constructed by slaves who carved the city and its harbor out of rock. Today, Lowtown is a labyrinth of shanty towns, corridors, and hexagonal courtyards. Hexes in the local parlance. Lowtown's poorest live in caves hewn out of the cliff face. The district is shoddily built and bears scars caused by collapsing walls. Foundry smoke smothers the area. Only a cold winter storm clears the air, but the icy wind howling over the mouths of old mine shafts hardly counts as relief. Occasionally, these dark town shafts erupt with gouts of foul ale known as choke damp. It's not uncommon to find whole slums silently suffocated, frozen in the midst of everyday activity. The walls surrounding Lowtown are highest up the harbor. Its busiest street leads up to Hightown, where the wealthiest Kirkwallers perch. When one stands in Lowtown, all one sees other than the rocky walls is Hightown. It glitters overhead, always in sight, yet always beyond the reach. Take back our streets. Ferelden refugees, Kunari soldiers. Who next? Tevinter slavers snatching children out of their beds? This ends now. Send a message that Kirkwallers will not accept this. We must band together to drive foreign waste from our doorstep. Reclaim the free marches for the marchers. If you care about our future, join the Friends of Kirkwall. Reclaim our city.
I have only the finest Antivan merchandise.
What do you got? Ooh, apostate's robes. Requires 18 magic though, dang it. Money!
Something of yours, Sarah.
You just stumbled on this? Can't say I'm surprised. Bloody fools.
Yeah, pretty much.
Gather round, all. I bring you priceless treasure from the highest heights of Mount Davarus has traveled.
Not really interested at the moment.
Free
Oh, the
drinks for
hangman.
guards. But accept, and you wake up in the alley.
The hangman. Okay, Varric, what do you got to say?
So, here's the thing. We need to find a way into the deep roads. Bartrand can lead us to the right place once we're down there, but we need a good entrance.
I've fought Darkspawn, but I've never been to the deep roads.
Fortunately, I've received some new information. There's a Grey Warden in the city. If anyone knows how to get down there, it'll be him.
Why would a Grey Warden know that?
The Wardens don't just fight Darkspawn. They forge into the deep roads all the time. And if he doesn't know, he might be able to point us to those who do.
We don't want trouble with the Grey Wardens, do we?
Let's look at our options first. I'd rather not fight a Warden unless we have to. Supposedly, this Grey Warden came in with some other Ferelden refugees not long ago. A Lowtown woman named Lorene has been helping the Fereldans. We talk to her. Maybe we learn where he is. I'll keep after my contacts, see if I can drum up any other work.
Okay. Seek out a Grey Warden for help in the Deep Road expedition. Varric heard that one is working as a healer somewhere. A shopkeeper named Lorraine in Lowtown might have more information. How do I get out here? Here we go. At least I got something now. Doesn't match the color of my clothes, but oh well. Anything to loot? Anything to loot? Yes, we got a barrel. What's there to loot? It's difficult for many to comprehend today, but there was a time when Kirkwall was believed to be the very edge of the world. It was Emirius then, named after its founder, Magister Emirius Cravan, and it was but one outpost on the very fringe of the Tevinter Imperium. There the Magister's serfs worked the quarries for the jetstone needed for the mighty temples of Manrathus. After a slave rebellion nearly burned the temple to the ground in the great city, it was determined that a center for the slave trade would need to be established well away from the very civilized parts of the Imperium. Though this account may be exaggerated, since the notorious Archon Venarius Isar narrowly escaped assassination at the hands of an elven slave at the time. Because the new slave outpost would become wealthy beyond imagining, Competition among prospects reportedly took over 20 years to resolve, resulting in great bloodshed in the frontier, well away from the Archon's eyes. Magister took arms against Magister, mostly in the form of small armies of serfs and mercenaries. Over half the slaves in existence allegedly died in these battles before Emirius was finally chosen, thanks to the marriage of Craven's son to the Archon's daughter. Within a mere decade, the mighty fortress was erected on the cliffs where Kirkwall now stands. Over 1 million slaves passed through its gates before the Imperium eventually fell, an unimaginable number by today's standards. The Craven family itself became patrons of the next 3 Archons. It was one of the driving forces behind the extension of the Imperial Highway into the Ferelden Valley, a move that would cost them considerable political influence after the resistance of the Alamari tribes. During its height, Emirius was a jewel to rival the mightiest of the imperial cities and the greatest center of civilization outside Tinventer. From Kirkwall, the City of Chains by Brother Genetivi, 924 Dragon. Got another side quest. An old shawl embroidered with the family name, a Tinventer symbol of femininity, and the crest of the blooming rose. Oh, this is Varric's room.
Varric, do you do anything?
Am I the next stop in your career evaluations? Joy of joys.
You watch and you talk. Is that it?
You are dismissing hallmarks of both the utterly ineffectual and the incredibly dangerous.
I don't know what you mean.
It means coins flow when I talk and when I shut up. Like if you got paid to guard or unguard.
That makes no sense.
Good.
That's a big mug. Was it worth it? No.
You heard about...
Nowhere in my travels, not in the heart of the Imperium nor the streets of Orzammar, have I felt so much an outsider as in Ravane. The chant of light never truly reached the ears of these people. The years they spent under the thumb of the Kunari left most of the country zealous followers of the Hewn. But resistance to the chant goes deeper than the Kunari War. The Ravani refuse to be parted from their seers, wise women who are in fact hedge mages, communicating with spirits and actually allowing themselves to become possessed. The chantry prohibition against such magical practices violates millennia of local tradition.
Hero of Ferelden?
Yes. Why?
What makes a hero, eh? I bet I could kill an archdemon.
I bet you couldn't. I'll bet you a dozen ales.
What? Well, now I'm gonna show you.
I'm distantly related to Viscount Dumas. My aunt's second husband's eldest daughter.
Good for you, buddy. Good for you. I think we'll stop at home and then call it. That would be a good place to stop, I think. I believe it's this way.
Did you approve my application?
I can't make you a guard carver.
We were both soldiers. Why won't they take me?
I was an officer, and I follow orders.
No, you don't.
I also think of others before myself. You seem tired of that, and that's dangerous.
Just when it's not my choice. You told them not to take me, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeesh.
You could do worse, Hawk. It's a roof.
Yeah, good point.
Hard to believe they left me nothing.
Well, Mother was pretty steamed when you ran off with your Ferelden apostate.
Speak with Mother about her argument with Gamlin.
I'm still their daughter, their eldest.
Hawk, a dwarf named Anso contacted the Red Iron looking for contract work. Wish I could take him up on it, but we've pressing business, so I recommended you. The dwarf pays well, so don't be a fool and miss out. Look for Anso in the Lowtown Bazaar at night if you're interested. Hawk, you were a pain in the ass to deal with, but a bloody talented one. If you get sick of being just another unemployed refugee in this shithole, maybe we can grab a drink. If there's any odd jobs my boys can't handle, I'll send them your way. Tomes. Ferric sources say that there's been a number of Templar raids held in Lowtown's elven alienage. You can't verify why, however, or who's been giving the orders. According to Varric, a group of mages being transported from Starkhaven haven't arrived at the gallows. It's currently just a rumor, however, and cannot be followed up on this time. According to Varric's sources, someone's been asking questions about a missing Templar. No search seems to be underway, however, and nothing can be done to follow up on this just yet. Varric says a dwarven merchant named Javarus has been offering a lot of coin for muscle. Finding out exactly where Jarvis is, however, seems to be a problem. We'll keep looking. Ferric has heard rumors that some of the Chantry have been making quiet inquiries about Lowtown about the Kunari. No one seems willing to talk about it, though. The First Blade had already raged for 90 years. The world was in chaos. A god had risen, twisted and corrupted. The remaining gods of Tevinter were silent, withdrawn. What writing we have recovered from those times is filled with despair, for everyone believed, from the greatest archons to the lowliest slaves, that the world was coming to an end. At Weishout Fortress in the desolate Anderfels, a meeting transpired. Soldiers of the Imperium, seasoned veterans who had known nothing their entire lives except hopeless war, came together. When they left Weishout, they had renounced their oaths to the Imperium. They were soldiers no longer. They were the Grey Wardens. The Wardens began an aggressive campaign against the Blight, striking back against the Darkspawn, reclaiming lands given up for lost. The Blight was far from over, but their victories brought notice, and soon they received aid from every nation in Thedas. They grew in number as well as reputation. Finally, in the year 992 of the Tevinter Imperium, upon the Silent Plains, they met the Archdemon Dumat in battle. A third of all the armies in northern Thedas were lost in the fighting, but Dumat fell and the Darkspawn fled back underground. Even that was not the end. The Imperium once revered 7 gods: Dumat, Zazakil, Toth, Enderhal, Razakil, Lusakan, and Urthemiel. 4 have risen as archdemons. The Grey Wardens have kept watch through the ages, well away from that peace this fleeting, and that their war continues until the last of the dragon gods is dead. level up. What do we got here? I could do Firestorm, Cone of Fire, Cone of Cold, I mean. What do we got here? Rock Armor would be nice. Stone Fist is always good. Chain Lightning. I'm gonna go with Rock Armor. You must not be under the misimpression that magic is all-powerful. There are limits. Not even the greatest mages may overcome them. No one, for instance, has found any means of traveling, either over great distances or small ones, beyond putting one foot in front of the other. The immutable nature of the physical world prevents this. So no, you may not simply pop over to Minrathous to borrow a cup of sugar, nor may you magic the essay you forgot in the apprentice dormitory to your desk. You will simply have to be prepared. Similarly, even when you send your mind into the Fade, your body remains behind. Only once has this barrier been overcome, and reputedly their spell required 2/3 of the lyrium in the Tevinter Imperium, as well as the lifeblood of several hundred slaves. The results were utterly disastrous. Finally, life is finite. A truly great healer may bring someone back from the very precipice of death when breath and heartbeat have ceased, but the spirit still clings to life. But once the spirit has fled the body, it cannot be recalled. That is no failing of your skills or power. It is simply reality. From the legends of first enchanter Wenceslas. Good old Wenceslas looked down on the evil.
My children have been in servitude for a year. They should be nobility.
If wishes were poppy, we'd all be dreaming.
This is the way things are, Mother. Gamlen can't change it now.
Your mother was supposed to marry the Comte de Launcey, and instead she ran off with some Ferelden apostate. You don't get to stay the favorite when you do that.
Where is Father's will? If I could just see for myself.
It's not here, all right? It was read, it went in the vault. No one needed to look at it again.
I know the Amels were nobility, Mother, but not much else. Why don't you ever talk about them?
The Amels have been a noble family in Kirkwall since Garahel drove out the Fourth Blight. But we've always carried magic in our blood. It's been a stain on our lineage. No family of good standing would ever marry into a line with magic. When I chose your father, I was bringing more magic into our line, not less. I think that's what hurt my parents the most.
Did Grandfather mention Mother in his will at all?
Our father died when you were still in short pants, lad. You can hardly expect me to remember.
Oh, of course not. Why should you do something reasonable?
Please, Uncle. We have a right to see it for ourselves.
Maybe so. But you won't be seeing the bloody thing. It's still locked up on the estate, and that's long out of my hands.
What daft bastard leaves that behind?
It was old news. You think I've been sitting here for 25 years waiting for Leandra to slink back?
Who bought the estate, Gamlen? Perhaps I could speak to them. Was it the Reinhardts?
No one you know. Get used to Lowtown, sister. That's where we're going to stay.
Something tells me that's not true.
I always want...
Maker, what a mess. I want to make things better for Mother. But some of what Gamlen says, I'm having a hard time hating him. Playing caretaker for someone else's life. Stuck in their shadow. That's no way to live.
Something you need to say?
Look, if you want to join the fight over who lost the most, fine. But I never lived here. Mother even gave me her old key to try and stir something. But I didn't know Grandfather. Finding his will doesn't matter to me.
She tried her best to give us what we need. I think she's due the same.
Oh, I see her side. Gamlen's definitely an arse. But it's not like we can just ask slavers to give back that life.
What have you heard?
Uncle's a chatty drunk. He was up to his neck and signed everything over. That's who has the estate. Apparently, the most extensive wine cellar in Kirkwall is now a slave highway from the Undercity. That's the family legacy.
I think we need to pay them a visit and look for Mother's missing paperwork.
I'm sure they will be right neighborly about letting us poke around.
We'll give them the chance, sure.
All right, brother. If the key works, we'll clear the estate from the Undercity up. I don't know if this will help, but I do feel like hitting someone.
Let's go get that will. Find Grandfather and Mel's will. Go to Darktown and break into the cellars of the old family estate. But we're gonna save that for next time. Till then, if you like this video, let me know in the comments. If you really liked it, press that cute little like button. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Luke Dog, and I'll see you next time.